The Grey Street Mosque, nestled in the heart of Durban, South Africa, is a beacon of history and faith. Its elegant minarets and ornate architecture stand as a testament to the rich cultural heritage of the city. But beneath its serene exterior lies a chilling secret, a secret that has haunted its corridors for over a century. It was a crisp autumn evening when Leila Khan, a dedicated historian with a passion for the supernatural, arrived in Durban. Leila had spent years researching haunted sites across the world, and the Grey Street Mosque had always intrigued her. The whispers of ghostly apparitions and unexplained phenomena had drawn her to this ancient place of worship. As she approached the mosque, Leila felt a shiver run down her spine. The air seemed heavy with a sense of foreboding, and the shadows cast by the setting sun danced eerily on the mosque's walls. She took a deep breath and stepped through the grand entrance, determined to uncover the truth behind the legends. Inside, the mosque was a tranquil haven, its halls adorned with intricate patterns and calligraphy. The faithful were gathered in prayer, their hushed voices filling the air with a sense of peace. Leila felt a pang of guilt for disturbing such a sacred place, but she knew her investigation was important. She made her way to the mosque's library, where she hoped to find records and documents that could shed light on the mysterious occurrences. The librarian, an elderly man named Yusuf, greeted her with a warm smile. "Welcome to the Grey Street Mosque," Yusuf said, his voice gentle. "How can I assist you?" "I'm here to research the history of the mosque and the stories of ghostly apparitions," Leila explained. "I've heard that there have been strange occurrences here for many years." Yusuf's smile faded, replaced by a serious expression. "The mosque holds many secrets, and there are indeed stories of spirits that linger in these halls. But be careful, young lady. The past can be a dangerous place." With Yusuf's help, Leila began her research. She combed through ancient manuscripts, diaries, and historical records, piecing together the history of the Grey Street Mosque. The more she delved into the past, the more she realized that the mosque was a place of both reverence and sorrow. The legend spoke of a tragic event that had occurred over a century ago. In the late 1800s, the mosque had been a sanctuary for those fleeing persecution and hardship. Among the refugees was a young woman named Amina, known for her beauty and kind heart. Amina had come to the mosque seeking solace, but her presence had stirred the jealousy of a wealthy and powerful man named Rashid. Rashid, driven by his obsession with Amina, had used his influence to orchestrate a series of events that led to her tragic death within the mosque's walls. Her spirit, filled with grief and anger, had become bound to the mosque, unable to find peace. Over the years, other spirits had joined her, each with their own tale of sorrow and suffering. Leila's heart ached as she read Amina's story. She felt a deep connection to the young woman, and she was determined to uncover the truth and bring her spirit the peace she deserved. She knew that to do so, she would have to confront the shadows that lingered in the mosque's darkest corners. One evening, as Leila continued her research in the library, she felt a sudden chill in the air. The temperature dropped noticeably, and she could see her breath in the cold. She looked up and saw a figure standing in the doorway, a ghostly apparition of a young woman in a flowing dress. "Amina," Leila whispered, her voice trembling. The spirit's eyes were filled with sorrow and longing as she glided towards Leila. "Who are you?" Amina's voice was soft and ethereal, tinged with a sadness that seemed to seep into Leila's very soul. "My name is Leila. I've come to uncover your story and help you find peace," Leila replied, her eyes welling with tears. "What happened to you, Amina? Why do you haunt this place?" Amina's ghostly form seemed to waver, as if she was struggling to remain present. "I loved him," she whispered, her voice barely audible. "But he betrayed me. I am bound to this place, searching for justice." Leila's heart ached for the tragic spirit. "I will help you, Amina. I will uncover the truth and bring you the justice you deserve." Amina's form flickered, a glimmer of hope in her eyes. "Thank you," she whispered before fading into the night. Determined to fulfill her promise to Amina, Leila delved deeper into her investigation. She combed through the archives, searching for any clues about Rashid and the events that had led to Amina's death. She spoke with historians, scholars, and descendants of those who had lived in Durban during the late 1800s. As she gathered information, a pattern began to emerge. There were discrepancies in the records, inconsistencies in the accounts of Amina's death. Leila began to suspect that the tragedy had not been a simple accident, but something more sinister. One name kept resurfacing in her research: Rashid Khan, a wealthy and influential businessman with a ruthless reputation. Rashid had been known for his cutthroat business practices, and there were rumors that he had used his power to manipulate events to his advantage. Leila's investigation led her to an old, abandoned mansion on the outskirts of Durban. The mansion had once belonged to Rashid, and she hoped that it held the answers she was seeking. She approached the mansion with a sense of trepidation, her heart pounding in her chest. The air around the mansion was thick with an oppressive sense of dread, and the windows seemed to watch her with empty eyes. Leila took a deep breath and stepped inside, determined to uncover the truth. The interior of the mansion was a decaying relic of the past, with cobwebs draping the furniture and dust covering every surface. Leila carefully made her way through the dark, musty rooms, searching for any clues that could shed light on Rashid's involvement in Amina's death. In the study, she found a hidden compartment behind an old painting. Inside was a stack of letters, their pages yellowed with age. As she read through them, Leila felt a mixture of anger and sorrow. The letters revealed Rashid's obsessive desire for Amina and his ruthless determination to have her at any cost. One letter, in particular, caught Leila's attention. It was from Rashid to a hired hand, instructing him to ensure that Amina never leaves the mosque alive. Leila's hands trembled as she read the damning evidence. Rashid had orchestrated Amina's death, and her spirit had been trapped in the mosque ever since. Leila knew that she had to share her findings with the authorities, but she also needed to be cautious. Rashid's descendants still wielded significant influence in Durban, and there were those who would stop at nothing to protect their family's legacy. With the evidence in hand, Leila returned to the Grey Street Mosque. She knew that she had to confront the spirits once more and share what she had uncovered. She made her way to the prayer hall, where she felt a familiar chill in the air. Amina's ghostly form appeared before her, a look of hope in her eyes. "Did you find the truth?" Amina asked, her voice filled with a mixture of anticipation and fear. Leila nodded, her heart aching for the tragic spirit. "I did. Rashid was responsible for your death. I have the proof." Amina's eyes filled with tears, and her form seemed to waver. "Thank you," she whispered. "You have given me the justice I have longed for." As Amina's spirit began to fade, Leila felt a sense of closure. She knew that she had fulfilled her promise, but there was still more to be done. She had to ensure that Rashid's actions were brought to light and that Amina's story was told. Leila approached the local authorities with the evidence she had uncovered. The officials listened intently as she presented her findings, their expressions shifting from skepticism to shock as the gravity of the evidence sank in. "This is serious," Inspector Patel said, leafing through the letters. "Rashid's actions were heinous, and the truth must be revealed. We need to conduct a full investigation." Over the next few weeks, Inspector Patel and his team conducted a thorough investigation, gathering testimonies and corroborating the evidence Leila had provided. The truth slowly began to emerge, painting a damning picture of corruption and greed. As the investigation gained momentum, Leila continued to experience encounters with Amina's spirit. Each time, Amina seemed more at peace, as if the unraveling of the truth was easing her torment. One evening, as Leila stood in the mosque's prayer hall, she felt Amina's presence once more. The ghostly figure appeared before her, a look of gratitude in her eyes. "Thank you," Amina whispered, her voice filled with a profound sense of relief. "You have given me the peace I have longed for. My spirit can finally rest." Leila felt a tear roll down her cheek as she watched Amina's spirit slowly dissolve into the ethereal light. The oppressive weight that had haunted the Grey Street Mosque for over a century lifted, replaced by a sense of tranquility and closure. Amina's departure marked the end of a long journey for Leila, but she knew that her work was not yet complete. The full story of Amina's tragic life and wrongful death needed to be revealed to the public. This truth had to be shared to ensure that justice was done, not only for Amina but for all the spirits who had lingered in torment. Amina's departure marked the end of a long journey for Leila, but she knew that her work was not yet complete. The full story of Amina's tragic life and wrongful death needed to be revealed to the public. This truth had to be shared to ensure that justice was done, not only for Amina but for all the spirits who had lingered in torment. With the investigation complete and Inspector Patel's support secured, Leila published an article detailing her findings. Her story, Specters of the Grey Street Mosque, unveiled the dark truth behind the haunted past of the mosque and the injustice that Amina had suffered. The article quickly gained traction, capturing the attention of both local and international audiences. The revelation sparked a public outcry. People were horrified by the extent of Rashid Khan's ruthlessness and the suffering he had caused. The descendants of Rashid, now aware of their ancestors' atrocities, expressed their deep remorse and took steps to make amends. In a gesture of reconciliation, the Khan family funded the restoration and preservation of the Grey Street Mosque. They also established a scholarship in Amina's name, dedicated to supporting young women in need, ensuring that her legacy would live on in a positive and impactful way. The Grey Street Mosque, once a place of sorrow and mystery, underwent a transformation. It became a symbol of healing and unity, where people from all walks of life came to learn about its history and pay their respects to the spirits who had found peace. Leila continued her work as a historian and paranormal investigator, but the story of Amina and the Grey Street Mosque remained her most cherished. She often visited the mosque, finding solace in its serene halls and reflecting on the journey that had brought her there. One evening, as she stood in the courtyard of the mosque, Leila felt a gentle breeze and sensed a familiar presence. She turned to see the faint, ghostly figure of Amina, radiant and at peace. "Thank you, Leila," Amina's voice echoed softly. "Because of you, my story has been told, and I can finally rest." Leila smiled, her heart filled with a profound sense of fulfillment. "You are not forgotten, Amina. Your legacy will live on, and your spirit will always be a part of this place." Years later, the Grey Street Mosque thrived as a place of remembrance and reconciliation. Visitors from around the world came to learn about its history and the story of Amina, whose courage and resilience had inspired generations. Leila's book, Specters of the Grey Street Mosque, became a bestseller, captivating readers with its poignant portrayal of love, loss, and redemption. The tale resonated deeply, touching the hearts of those who read it and ensuring that Amina's story would never be forgotten. Leila continued to uncover stories of the past, driven by her passion for justice and her deep empathy for those who had suffered. The journey of the Grey Street Mosque had taught her the importance of seeking truth and honoring the memories of those who had gone before. As she stood in the mosque's prayer hall, gazing at the restored beauty of its architecture, Leila felt a sense of peace. The voices of the past had been heard, and the spirits had found their rest, their stories forever etched into the annals of history. And so, the legend of the Specters of the Grey Street Mosque lived on, a story of love, loss, and the enduring power of truth. The shadows of the past had been illuminated, and the spirits had found their peace, their voices forever echoing through the sacred halls of the mosque. If you enjoyed the thrilling and dramatic tale of Specters of the Grey Street Mosque and want more spine-chilling stories and captivating content, don't forget to like,